What's up, humans? Happy Monday. Welcome to a new Psicoactivo. I hope you had a great and fantastic Mother's Day weekend. I had a wonderful time with my mother. Happy Mother's Day to every mama out there. Okay, so a lot happened yesterday, but I am going to be talking about that in subsequent videos today because I'm going to do a few. But I wanted to talk to you guys about a piece of footage that I found for which the video has already been taken down. It's a rare Bob Lazar interview from 1997. It was restored. It's from Tom Vernon UAP's channel, but it was taken down. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why, but I got the clip for you guys so you guys can check it out. It's just a 3-minute clip. I'm going to be like interrupting every minute or so. So I don't get in trouble if possible. I hope so. But it's an interview where he covers pretty much all the important facts of what happened to him. To those who don't know, Bob Lazar is essentially the first whistleblower ever. Area 51 is known because of his testimony. He came out with George Knapp in the late 80s, and he claims to have been taken to a place called S4 near Area 51 on Papoose Lake. He claims that he was taken to reverse engineer alien craft. And he's very descriptive on what he learned. He talks about this element 115, which was eventually, like in the early 2000s, discovered as Moscovian in Russia. But it was like in really microscopic quantities, not like Bob claims to have handled by himself. There's been a lot of controversy over Bob Lazar's testimony over the years. From the people that I talk to and that I know, it's about half and half of the ones who believe him and the ones who don't. I still don't know what to make of it, but what I can say about him is that his story has remained consistent over 30 plus years. He has never changed anything. He doesn't really like the spotlight. He very rarely attends conventions and stuff like that. Right now, there is a documentary about him called S4, the Bob Lazar story, from the guys at Project Gravitaur. The director is named Luigi Venditelli, and he's the one who's like doing all the work with this. They're doing fantastic PR for the movie. It's going to come out this summer. There was already, I think, an event about the film in Las Vegas. Chris Ramsey, friend of the show from Area 52, was there. I think he already interviewed Bob, and he's going to release the interview when the movie comes out. He hasn't told me that, but it's like not really that hard to figure out, right? It's like a no-brainer. Chris Ramsey's one of the people that has been supporting Bob for the longest time. He absolutely believes Bob. And I found it interesting that I saw this clip that I'm going to show you guys, and let's comment on it because he talks about pretty much everything in a little under 4 minutes. So here it is.
Tell us who you are. Give us your credentials and where you've worked.
Well, I'm a physicist and a scientist. I've worked at various government institutions, one of them being Los Alamos National Labs in Los Alamos, New Mexico. And also I'm more prominently known for working at Area S4, which is about 15 miles south of Area 51 in the Nevada desert, which is a top secret government research facility.
Where did you go to school, Bob?
I went to school at MIT and Caltech, also a couple other junior colleges here and there in California.
So that's one of the main points of contention, right? Where did Bob attend school? Because there's people that have asked around and they've gone to those schools, and according to them, there is no record of Bob ever going to that school. And what I would think that happened is that if he's telling the truth, somebody erased his record from the schools that he attended, which is already pretty weird, if you ask me.
And what was your field of study?
Field of study was physics and electronics technology.
And when you were working for these different installations before you went to S4, you didn't have any connection with flying saucers whatsoever, did you?
No, I didn't have any connection. And in fact, I didn't even believe in him. I thought it was just, the rantings and ramblings of crazy people, more or less.
When was the first time that you actually began to believe or got interested in the subject enough to want to go someplace and maybe work with them?
Well, I was never interested in the subject at all, primarily because I didn't believe in it. It's when I was offered a job working on advanced propulsion systems is how it was advertised to me. And it was only later that I found out the job I was employed to do was to back engineer extraterrestrial craft.
What Bob did when he was taken to S4, allegedly, he claims to have seen at least a couple of craft of different shapes. One of them, he calls it the sports model, which is the saucer shaped craft. And it is the craft that the Project Gravitaur guys are going to be featuring on this documentary. And what surprised me the most about his testimony were the videos of him taking people he knew, his friends, to record these objects. And he did, which was really surprising at the time. You can see the little dots in the sky moving really weird, really strangely. And he was right about the date. He was right about the time when they were going to see them. He managed to record them. And naturally, people who were like officials taking care of that area were extremely surprised that he was able to know the time and the date and the type of object that they were going to see. So this adds more credibility to the story overall. But I know I talked to some people who deal with propulsion, and they're not really that impressed with what Bob did. As I told you guys, I'm on the fence about him. I do think that he comes across as earnest, but I don't know if potentially the information he was given is not real. And maybe he believes it, but maybe what he was told is not the truth and it was just misinformation. Who knows? But this is a fascinating story and a fascinating clip.
Or an extraterrestrial craft. And it really happened backwards from the normal chain of events.
How did you come to get the job at the S4 area?
Well, that's a good question. And I really don't know if I can answer it. I don't know what motivated them. There are certainly more intelligent, more educated people around. There is a wide variety of high-profile scientists and physicists that they could have pulled out of the works anywhere. If anything, your guess is as good as mine on that. I really don't know why I was chosen. I did.
So this is what I was telling you guys. Even he doesn't understand. And recently we saw that leak from Reddit of this alleged electrical engineer who describes the reasons and the requisites they ask for people to join them working on these craft. And he says that, first of all, they don't care about people's credentials. They care about whether you are able to think outside the box. And they also care about whether you're able to shut the fuck up, which is something that Bob did not do. But this happened because he felt that he was made up and that his life was actually in danger. What actually happened was that the people who were allegedly employing him discovered that his wife was cheating on him, and they stopped calling him because of that. But Bob didn't know, so he thought his life was actually in danger. So he started rolling around with a gun, just to protect himself, because if what he says that he experienced is true, it's the most secretive stuff that he could ever come across. So you can understand why he was very paranoid and afraid for his own life.
I did have not really connections per se, but I did know a couple people that were also involved in the project. I really didn't know they were at the time, but they could have put a name in, and it could have wound up that way.
You think that Dr. Teller might have had anything to do with it?
This is a very important one because there's a legendary clip of Dr. Edward Teller, who's the father of the hydrogen bomb, where he's being asked about Bob, And he just flat out tells the interviewers that he's not going to answer that question. And watch out what he's going to say here, because it's been long said amongst the many different theories that the person who put him there was Edward Teller. He was the one who recommended Bob Lazar to work at S4 on some of these craft. Whether that's true or not, it remains to be seen.
It's a substantial possibility. At one time, while I was working at Los Alamos, I went to see one of his lectures. I got there early, and he was outside. And coincidentally, at that particular time, I was on the front page of the newspaper he was reading, and he was reading about an article about a small Honda Civic that I had converted to run on jet power. And I introduced myself and explained what I was doing. And some years later, I had sent a resume to him and some other national labs when I decided to get back into the scientific field after I had moved to Las Vegas. And, it is substantially possible that he had a hand in doing it. He did refer me to someone at EG&G, which in turn did lead to the employment at S4.
Very interesting. And I'm going to show you guys the clip of Edward Teller, because this is like almost startling to listen to. The audio is a bit off, but I am going to try and make it better on the edit. But let me show you guys. So here's Edward Teller in that old interview. It's a really short clip, just so you guys listen.
And if I ask you on camera, if you know Bob Lazar, can you just say no? I will sit silently. And if I ask you on camera, if you know Bob Lazar, can you just say no? I will sit silently.
Did you hear that? And they asked him, if I asked you if you knew Bob Lazar, would you say no? He said, I would sit silently. And then Bob has this story about meeting Ed Teller and eventually sending him his resume. And so this is really interesting stuff. But still, I don't know what to make of Bob. I am going to show you guys the trailer for this Project Gravitaur documentary, S4, the Bob Lazar story. So you guys can see what we are going to get this summer.
Hi, I'm Bob Lazar. In December of 1980,
all the stuff that's unfolding right now traces back to Bob Lazar.
Yeah. So they did reconstructed a life-size model of the sports model for the film. That's impressive. And I can't wait to watch that film. Whenever it comes out, I'm going to try and watch it and give you guys a review of how it went. But you guys saw there's George Knapp there. I want to hear your thoughts about Bob, because I was always thinking about making something about Bob, but everybody keeps like doing stuff about him, and I had no idea what I could do. Then I saw this old clip and I decided to talk about it because what he says about Edward Teller. I hadn't heard that specific part of when he met Teller. Maybe he's already said it somewhere else, but I hadn't heard it. I've been only on this for about a year and a half, so you're going to have to excuse me there. But let me know what you think about Bob's story in general, and what are you expecting from this film, the Project Gravitaur S4 movie? And what do you think about this old clip? I think it was pretty interesting. Let me know. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can get notified when new video drops. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I'm going to leave a few links in the description. Take your pick. You can also become a member. You can also support us on KGRA. Anything you do is always appreciated. Thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive. Bye.